holler if you hear me, and welcome to a new edition of Luke Goes Postal because, well, the failure of the Snow White remake has now reached Joe Rogan levels of proportions in how much it is being acknowledged. The failure of the Snow White remake is Roman Reigns storming into the ring at WrestleMania, mic up to the face to shout, "Acknowledge me!" And well, now even normie-loving entertainment out there like Joe Rogan's, a podcast that is all over the world, is now taking time out of its day to acknowledge the failure of Snow White. And it is interesting that now you had Joe Rogan and his guest on there both taking turns mocking this film, when I'd like to remind you, for all the people who, because he said something about ivermectin, will think he's some type of evil, alt-right, underground, paranoid dude. Yeah, the guy who spent years in mainstream Hollywood, yeah, truly, he's going to be a dude that's going to be all for the right. No, and it's especially comparable when you pay attention to how this was a man who was out there talking about the Barbie movie and saying all the things that, lefty people wanted to hear about that film, and talking about it also, most especially, he was all on its side and all for it, because remember, here's a guy who's got, a wife and his kids, and all his kids being daughters, so, if only so that the wife and the daughters won't get so mad at him when he comes home from doing the podcast and then hear what he had to say about the movie. But here, on the other hand, clearly something's broken, or even they didn't want to see this crap because, well, besides the statistics that the people did go to see this movie were mostly people that went to see these in theaters that were in right-leaning districts, yes, to the point of people in the world of, those type of mouse house worshippers at Deadline and what have you, we're going down to the point of even going district by district to try to look and count every single little shekel and where it's coming from, like it's MSNBC coverage of the election, and finding out, oh yes, in right-leaning districts is where these movie theaters were, where people were going to see them, because, this is supposed to be a Disney movie, this is supposed to be a family film, this is supposed to be a beloved family cartoon, and guess what? More people that actually do want to go and see things like that and actually put down the money to see that are in districts where there actually are families, where there are parents, where there are children. And in your major metropolitan cities, where everybody's going to be too busy calling someone a racist on social media and then applaud themselves for saying that, yeah, those people are not the ones who have the kids that are going to go see something like this, okay? And maybe now you know why Joe Rogan walked out in LA and now he's down there deep in the heart of Texas. Because, well, hey, he's got a daughter, he's got daughters, and he's got a wife. What is he doing with his time? Well, he's too busy looking over at this and mocking the hell out of her, while his guest goes even deeper and describing her as looking like an alien woman or whatever. But yeah, now if you look at it, you notice that between the head that is so exaggerated in shape that even in anime, a female character would call that weird physiognomy, the eyes that are really, really wide and are on separate time zones. I'm pretty sure her right eye's on the West Coast and the other eye's on the East Coast. And besides that, just the deep blackness of her eyes as well. I'm pretty sure that Rachel Zegler also has a strong family resemblance to something that contacted Whitley Strieber around Christmas in the mid-'80s. Yeah, check out the novel, the memoir Communion. And I'm pretty sure if you look at the cover of that memoir, Rachel Zegler is going, hey, look, that's my uncle. But that's all stuff that we all have already known. We've already seen, for those of us out there, like yours truly, who's been following this crap for now years. But remember, there are those that are online and that are looking at all of this and have been documenting all of this. And then there are those that are just out there in the day-to-day that don't document it as much, or at least they might see a headline and scrolling through their phone and they get back on with the rest of the day. And then there are those that now, well, taking a good look at all this, it is good to continue making that victory lap, especially now when even it has reached the normie circles, like getting mocked on the Joe Rogan Experience. Oh, it feels like magic. And especially, well, it's a good reminder of, if you see this, you see a failure like this, you see, as the guest on the Joe Rogan Experience was explaining, that this is something where you're looking at this and the film is not completely her fault. And he also acknowledged that the Disney is trying to pass all the blame on Rachel Zegler, but also in looking at it, yeah, she was an actress saying her lines. She didn't do anything with the script, because trust me, she'd never had the kind of clout to have script approval or anything like that. Not like with, name an actor who's actually earned anything, like, say, Robert Downey Jr. He's definitely the kind of actor who gets script approval over that kind of stuff if you put him in your production. But in doing that and bringing all these things up, you look at her and think, yeah, she was just doing the part. And if anything, she was good casting for the type of Snow White that was portrayed in the script, of being an arrogant, entitled 20-something who will keep running her mouth because she has a lot of unsolicited opinions that are not really informed about anything she is speaking of. So, of course, also the idea of her running her mouth like she did about how the Snow White doesn't need a prince, Snow White don't need no man or whatever, which is exactly what was in the script for this film, but also bringing up the whole idea of how, well, then you went and started shouting political talking points that involve the Middle East. Yeah, you really, really expect that that's not going to also have severe consequences when it comes to not just the everyday people who will look at that and go, well, screw you, but also look at people out there in the world that do not revolve their lives around unhinged lefty elitist political movements and think, well, screw you as well. You know, if anything, you want to go and show, not tell someone like Rachel Zegler how you are better than them, well, then make sure that you are not raised on TikTok. Make sure that, you got yourself a bit of a social life. Hey, we'll look at yours truly right here. I mean, I'm walking out more and, well, hey, it may be, despite what the stereotypes have to say to you about the city of Detroit, there are places out there where there is actually a dating scene, and you'll be seeing more of me getting out into there. You'll be seeing more of me actually going out there and doing the things that the Rachel Zegler apologists always accuse her critics of not being able to do. But trust me, one good look at me, and yeah, more of me in the dating scene, more of me out there socializing. There'll be a lot more of that to see, in the way that there won't be that much more to see of Rachel Zegler. And that's not my opinion. I know I'm right. So I thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit 10,000 subs, become a member today, and shop my art store with the second link below, where you can buy my art or commission me, or you can go and donate to support me directly. So until then, felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and see you, Space Cowboy.